Hey, this is a familiar set of logos to us. If you watched the two SpongeBob Let's Plays that I did on my first channel that are featured in playlists on this channel if you're looking for them. I don't think the THQ Australia one was in that one, but yeah, this is the next Let's Play that I'll be doing, and it is SpongeBob Lights Camera Pants. I will be playing the GameCube version, as I did with the other two SpongeBob games. So, Battle for Bikini Bottom came out in the fall of 2003. The SpongeBob movie game came out in the fall of 2004. This one came out in the fall of 2005, and this is the first post-movie game, the first video game at least to be released during the time period of the show that people say the show sort of jumped the shark, if you will. And it is yet another game that I played a whole lot of as a child, just like all the other SpongeBob games, and I didn't really intend for this when I started the Battle for Bikini Bottom LP or the movie game LP, but I did notice that it is 2019, and this is the 20th anniversary of the start of SpongeBob SquarePants. It started in the summer of 1999. And so I'm thinking I might just make this SpongeBob year, at least LP-wise, because there are at least two other games, one of them very short, that I could do that are in the SpongeBob video game canon. But I'll discuss that a little bit more later. I'm going to let the opening cutscene do all of the explaining of the actual game for me.
Special of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy is, and I'm completely convinced. Yes, sir. Sure. We'll put all the contestants through their paces, see how they do in the 3 scenes, and the one that performs the best will get the part. Yes, sir. And the most popular contender overall will get the coveted supervillain role. Good one, pal. I am so sorry, sir. So sorry I called you that. I just got a bit carried away with the moment. It won't happen again. Yes, sir. Okay. Just leave it to me. I'll take care of everything. Miss Pennington, get me the first contest host on the line. No! Bubble Bass! I couldn't have picked a greater culinary connoisseur to judge the best waiter.
No, you could not. My superior gastronomic and gourmet skills will sort the majestic from the meek.
Right. So how is that high-fat, high-carb thing working out for you anyway?
Fine. Thank you very much.
Anywho, just make sure you sort the good from the bad.
Of course I will. That's why you chose me.
Right. I'll be waiting.
Bubble Bass is very annoying. More annoying than Gil Hammerstein, who is also kind of annoying. He's a character, at least to my knowledge, only exists in this game unless he's shown up in a later episode or something like that. But it was all kind of right there. He's the director of the new Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy Sneaky Hermit episode. I don't know if he specifically said that it's the one about the Sneaky Hermit, but that's what it is. There are, I want to say, 8 roles that need to be cast, and they do that by having 4 players compete in 3 challenges per role. And you get, the main thing, separate from the points you get in the actual game, are your popularity points. Someone needs to get 12,000 of them for it to go forward. I think the maximum is 15,000, 5,000 per minigame. And I don't think if you're playing a single-player game as I am here, I don't think you need to be the one to win. I think just as long as anybody does, you can get to the end. As long as any of the CPU characters get 12,000, but if you're playing with everyone on normal like I am right now, then you will have a little bit of a problem relying on any of the CPU characters to be better than you, because when you're not playing this with other people and you're just kind of setting the computers to their neutral thing, you pretty much will always be the standout, and as such, if this run goes well, I'm playing as SpongeBob, so you'll be seeing SpongeBob in all of the roles. And right out the gate, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but at the end of this segment, and at the end of every segment, at the end of each level, there is, you get to watch the scene from the episode that your character got the role for. And they're out of order in the story, and then when you've finished the whole game, when you've finished a whole round of the 8 roles, there are additional scenes and the scenes that you've seen before, but shown in the correct order, the correct chronological order of the story. So I just wanted to ask people right out the gate, would you like me to show all of those cutscenes with commentary now, and then the final video of this run will most likely be the entire full episode of the full Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episode, probably without much commentary, or if people don't really care if I, offer thoughts during it, then just let me know what you think would be best, because I do want to, as always, I want to show off the game. I want to show the parts of it that I think are unique, which are, this whole episode business of being a role in a scene. But on the other hand, especially with SpongeBob, you can find the versions of every role on YouTube without commentary already, and so I don't really feel a burning, necessity to do that, but we'll see. But anyway, I totally just talked through that whole entire first audition without saying anything about it, but it was pretty straightforward. It was called Flipping Out. You flip patties to your partner, and you try to catch the ones that they flip to you. Don't let the weird robot spider leg gross Krabby Patties. Don't get those, or I think you lose 20 points or something. These first few are all super simple mini games. Pretty much all of them are move from side to side and press the designated buttons. And this one, where you have to actually remember button combinations for the orders, is this is about as complicated as the mini games in this first set in the Krusty Krab get. Yeah. And this is also one of those, some of these are all, 4 people all against each other, and some of them are in teams, as you can see. I think all 3 of these are in teams in this first level, which I never noticed until now. But yeah, this is where the incompetence of the average CPU can kind of hinder your own thing. But if you're doing things correctly and quickly and making up for your partner, usually that will translate into positive popularity points for you.
You've got money, right?
So this game is an interesting departure from the rest of the SpongeBob games. As you can see, it is not your typical 3D platformer. It's more of a party game, which makes it a kind of less than ideal solo Let's Play. I feel like this would be really fun with other players. I've actually only played this game with other players once or twice, and it was when I was a child, because you know, if you're in a situation where people are over and they want to play a party game, Lights, Camera, Pants is just not usually their first option. Most people want to do, like, Mario Party or Mario Kart or Smash Brothers. Pretty much just Mario shit. Although, in my last, or I guess the apartment before, my last apartment before the one I live in now, my roommates did like playing, Injustice Gods Among Us whenever we were sort of in that mindset. And as you can probably tell by now, this is a post-commentary video, as will at least the next one be. I don't think I said that grammatically correctly at all, but whatever. The next one will also be post-commentary, just because I recorded ahead to the second audition as well, but I will by no means am I, you know, definitely sticking to this, because I do feel like this sort of gameplay is something that would be conducive to having good live commentary. I just knew that there were things that I wanted to get out of my mouth unhindered, without having to, you know, also be paying attention to what I'm doing in the actual mini-game, because these obviously move quite fast. You want to get as many points as you possibly can. Yeah, got beaten by 10 points on that one. Not really sure how that worked. I don't know what it is. I don't really think there's any difference between the characters. I'm not sure. You can obviously set differences. You can have them be really good. You can have them be neutral or really shitty. I kind of never do that just because, you know, you're going to be playing against or with pretty much all of the characters at one point or another. And so you kind of don't want to fuck yourself over, especially when I'm just trying to show off all the different gameplay modes, or I guess mini-games. But yeah, so I was a little bit worried going into this one, because this is going to be a very short LP. I am going to be doing it 3 a day, just because I don't want it to take a million weeks, because doing 2 per day instead of 3 per day, like, almost doubles the length of the LP in terms of, like, how many actual weeks it takes to upload it, not length in terms of how many parts, of course. And I have another game in mind for after this that's a tad longer and a little bit more normal, right, you know, a little bit more like the other stuff that I've been doing. But like I said, I thought it would be cool to have like a SpongeBob thing. I feel like I'm on a little bit of a roll with it, and there are other games in the SpongeBob video game canon that I'd like to try out if I can before the year's over, so... but I also want to have a good amount of variety, so that, you know, we're not just kicking off this LP channel with nothing but SpongeBob games. But they're good games, so what do you want me to say? I like them. So yeah, I'm sorry if this gameplay-wise is not really your cup of tea of something to watch, and I'm sorry if it's super boring to have it with only one player, one human player, that is. Maybe, so there are bronze, silver, and gold. You can do them for, you know, but it's the same auditions in each round, I guess, in each game. I think it just gets harder. Maybe after this, if I can find out, like, if we can get, like, net play getting going, with other people who have this same emulator, maybe I can play this with some other players, but right now it's just not really an option. And, I have other things that I am planning to upload that include other people down the line anyway, so... It'll just be, you know, a handful of parts and a couple weeks, and then we can dive into something else, and we'll have Madagascar going alongside it, and then whatever takes Madagascar's place when that ends, which will be fairly soon. And yeah, as always, probably gonna get some reminiscing about the old days of SpongeBob and playing this game. I don't have nearly as many very specific memories of this game as Battle for Bikini Bottom and the SpongeBob movie. As you go down the line, I kind of have fewer specific memories of each of the games, which I guess makes sense. They were out for less time. And this one especially, since you can beat it in like a couple of hours, didn't stick in my mind quite as much. But yeah, you can definitely, now that I'm really thinking about it, you can tell that this game was being developed at a time where, because when the movie was being made, they kind of halted production on the show, which is why the release dates of the season 2 and 3 episodes are all wonky. And I feel like it's you can tell that this game came out of that era of sort of not knowing the direction of the show and not having a whole bunch of time or resources to carve anything out as they were changing showrunners and everything like that. Because Battle for Bikini Bottom very much feels like a fully fleshed out video game. The SpongeBob movie also feels like a full video game, but a little bit more rushed, a little bit more padded, because it had to be released alongside a movie that was only in production for a little less than 3 years, like a little over 2 at the most. And then this one, I'm guessing, was made in the sort of interim of finishing the movie and releasing the movie. So there isn't really much that is based in any episodes of the show in this game. And the next SpongeBob game that came out the year after this is a full platformer, but is similar in that very little of it is inspired by anything in the actual show or any episodes contemporary to when it was coming out, which is a trend that I notice in some of these later on SpongeBob games. And we got 2018 points. That's pretty funny. I thought it was going to be 2019, but alas. And yeah, there you go. As long as you're playing the game like a remotely competent human being with hands, you can pretty much get 15,000 popularity points very easily in these first few. One thing I will say I don't love about this game is the load times are quite long. I may not include all of these loading screens in the final thing. But yeah, you can also tell that this is, that this game was made in that sort of awkward interim period because it's not a full platformer. It's just kind of a party game. It's a lot of disparate ideas put together. The animation and modeling is, I guess the animation's a little bit crisper, a little bit more, it's still expressive, but I feel like the models of the characters in this game are not quite as, like, the transition from the 2D cartoon to the 3D video game rendering, I feel like, I don't know, it doesn't feel as good to me in this one as it did in 04 and 03 with Battle for Bikini Bottom in the movie game. But what the fuck do I know? I've never made video games, so it's just personal preference, honestly. But anyway, those are all the Krusty Krab auditions. I talked over all those. So here is the Krusty Krab scene with SpongeBob as the waiter. This is the one that makes the most sense. SpongeBob being the waiter. And yeah, let me know if you'd like to see these without commentary at the end of the LP, because I'll happily do that. But anyway.
The hermit is not here. Only tasty and nutritious meals at affordable prices.
Ooh, monsieur, that was very good.
Why, thank you. I have had some training and... Hey, is this thing still on?
Ooh, the barnacles.
Oh, come on, mermaid man. That shady character at the beach obviously sent us on a wild goose chase. Don't be silly, son. There are no wild geese here. We're at the bottom of the ocean.
I will have to say, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy are quite well animated in this game. It's just SpongeBob and Patrick and most of the main characters just look sort of awkward to me.
A little more? More? A little more, thanks? Just a bit more.
How about you just keep that pepper?
Thanks. I sure love that pepper.
Hey, so, we're wasting time. We should be out finding the sneaky hermit.
Did you say sneaky hermit?
Yes, I did.
The hermit used to be in my tap dancing class.
Well, that's a coincidence.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any idea where this hermit is now?
Nuh-uh.
Well, have you seen anything suspicious?
Would suspicious be like, seeing Man Ray drag a wriggling sack into the chum bucket, perhaps?
I call that suspicious.
'Cause no one goes into the chum bucket.
When did you see this?
Now, out the window.
Merciful muscles, Mermaid Man, we've got work to do.
To the chum bucket!
Thank you for coming to the Krusty Krab. Please come again!
Oh, yes.
I also will say that some of the lines, because the lines change for whatever character ends up getting the role, but some of the lines are a little bit wonky in some of the scenes. They don't really fit quite as well. You can definitely tell that they had certain characters in mind for who would be playing certain roles. But most of the dialogue and cutscenes and stuff in this game, I think, are pretty funny. But yeah, that was the Krusty Krab auditions. The next one is the Lookout role, and we'll be doing that next time, I guess.